Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 15z-5523. So we're going to use a needle and a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. First thing we're going to do is remove all the little rubber covers over the screws. Alright, so just get the needle in the edge. You can use whatever works for you. You can use a really small flathead screwdriver or anything else, whatever allows you to get these little rubber pieces out. And then you want to keep them in order because these are different sizes and shapes and things. Alright, this computer's old, so it's probably missing some of those covers, like this one doesn't have anything there. So keep that in mind. If yours has a rubber piece there, just remove that as well. Okay, so we're going to remove all of these. Okay, I think if your main goal is just to upgrade the RAM, it's actually just underneath this cover here. The customer is having an issue with the screen coming on, so it works with an external monitor. We're going to check if the LCD cable is loose or anything like that. So we're going to undo this one screw here and pull this cover up. And here you can see the RAM. Wow, it's super dusty. I'm going to have to clean that. But this is a 4 gig PC3 12800S, so you can get any PC3 12800S RAM. If you want, you can get two 8 gig sticks. But yeah, they only have one stick here. We're gonna leave this here. It looks like there's one screw under here that we need to remove so that we can remove the keyboard, so make sure you remove that. Okay. Alright, so we're going to remove that and we're going to set that aside. You do want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. There's an arrow there, so I was checking if there was another hidden screw. This thing is kind of gross, so I'm going to clean that off. We're going to use a toothbrush and clean this out better later. I'll use a toothbrush and then I'll use my electric air blower, but for now we're just going to do it like that. Okay. Wow, that's pretty bad. Okay. Okay, so we'll put that. Maybe it's just something with the dust. Alright, so that cover also holds in the CD drive. Here's the little piece that holds it. So now we're going to go ahead and pull that out. Just like that. And we'll set this aside. Oh, it looks like there used to be a screw under here, but it's missing. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and remove all these other screws. Again, to keep them in order, you want to put them flat side down on your desk like this. Oops, sorry, not like that, like like that. Right, in the pattern you remove them, so that way you can make sure to put back the same screws where you got them. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. Alright. Alright, so their hinge looks to be a little wobbly, so I have a feeling the loose hinge maybe pulled the cable or damaged it. If it's damaged, it might not be worth fixing because it is such an old computer, but we'll find out. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. Hopefully it's not a broken screen or anything. Yeah, alright, so now we got all these screws out from the bottom. We are also going to have to take out the screws from the keyboard. Let me actually clean this real quick and then I'll be back because I don't want to get this stuff all over everywhere. Alright, so I'm going to clean the dust out of there and also this back cover, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. Cleaned it out. Alright. This stuff, some of the stuff doesn't really clean off, but there we go. Okay, so we're going to flip this over now. Going to carefully open this up. Probably should have actually blown the dust out of here as well. But alright, so we're going to have to use a thin pry tool for this. So to get the keyboard, I use this thin metal pry tool. But basically what you do is you get in there, you kind of wiggle it, and then you can go ahead and pop this out. Alright, the whole keyboard should come out, not just the frame. So on this, for some reason, part of just the frame was coming out. And then while I'm holding it up in the middle here, we're just going and popping all those clips there that are holding it in place. It feels like they spilled something in here, so it's kind of stuck. Alright, as you can hear, it's actually pulling up whatever sticky stuff they spilled on there, so that probably some sugary drink or something. Alright. I don't think that's an adhesive, but I guess we'll see when we pop this out. Yeah, no, they spilled something under here. Okay, so anyways, we're going to pop these cables up. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Flip the latch up here, and you can pop this out. Alright, flip this latch, and you can pop this out. So, I don't know if you can see all this residue here. Yeah, so maybe that's why the screen's not working. I don't know. We'll see. If you want, you can check your keyboard model number. You want to make sure it's the same. They have the model information here and part numbers. Okay, anyways, we're going to set that aside for now. Let's go ahead, just to be safe. Actually, the battery's internal, so we can't do that, but let's go ahead and pop these. I was going to do a battery drain, but let's go ahead and pop all these connectors out. All right, and then you want to lift up so that you can get a hold of the blue part, and then you can pull that out. All right, we're going to do that for all these cables. Pull these cables. Oops, I was out of view for this one, so I flipped that latch up as well. I'm going to pull this out as well. Okay. There we go. So now we got all those cables out. Let's zoom out a bit, and we're going to undo all the screws that are in here. Okay. So there's one screw down here. Again, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Okay, so we got that one, and then we got another one down here. Okay, and then we got two more here. Hopefully we didn't miss any. I think that's all of them. So now that we got all four of those screws out, let's see if we can go ahead and pop this cover up. Usually what I like to do is I like to pull up on here and push down with another finger. So like that. Let's see if we can pop that open that way. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so that doesn't seem to work well. So we're probably going to have to go around and just pop the clips out. Let me move the CD drive out of my way. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over here and let's see if we can go ahead and pop this out. So I'm using my thumb back here and running my fingernails along the edge. You can use plastic pry tools. You don't have to use fingernails, but for me it's easier this way. Okay, just like that. We're going to go along here and same thing, just pry all of that out. Okay, so now we got this coming up. All right, you can see we can actually pop this out. We missed that edge down here in the corner. Okay, so now we can actually somewhat pop this up. The back is still holding a little, so let's go ahead and see if it will pop up once we kind of lift it this way. Wiggle it a little, and there we go. So we got this bottom cover off. Okay, you can see there's more liquid damage here. I'm gonna have to clean this out. It's pretty dusty. There's crumbs all over it. Okay, then you got all these connectors in here. So this is for the two USB ports and the SD card slot. This is a pull up click tab. The LCD LVDS connector is right here. Oh, there's some broken plastic there. So I guess we'll see. I'm gonna try tightening this cable and see if it helps at all. This adhesive isn't even doing anything anymore because it's just all covered with crumbs and everything, and it's old. We are going to disconnect the battery just to be safe. So the battery is right here. Battery model number is 2NJNF. All right, if you need that. I don't know if you can, oh, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so you can see it on the blue, 2NJNF. All right, there we go. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and remove the battery. So we've actually replaced the hard drive on here with an SSD a while back, but now we're going to be checking if the screen is having some issue. Okay, so we got all these screws. Again, keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths, and if you mix them up, you can damage your computer. Right, so we're going to get the two going here that are also holding the hard drive bracket in place. Okay, and then looks like there's just one more in this corner here. All right, so now that we've gotten all those 5 screws out, we're going to grab this little pull tab here and we're going to pull the battery up. If you don't have that pull tab, you can kind of get under here and pull it up from here. Okay, but anyways, we got that out. Okay, I don't know if this battery was replaced before. It looks a little bit cleaner than the rest of the inside of the computer, so could possibly be it was replaced, or the last time I worked on it, it cleaned better than the rest of the computer. Anyways, we got the battery out. Okay, and the battery, when you put it back in, same thing, you just pop it back in, but we'll go over that later. Anyways, now we're going to press and hold the power button. So the power button is part of the motherboard, actually, it seems. So I'm going to hold this for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This will make it safer to work on and is very important if you're messing with the LCD or LVDS connector. All right, so I'm going to continue holding this. If this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, anyways, I'm going to clean all of this up and I'll be back. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So cleaned up the battery a bit. Alright, it's cleaner now. Cleaned up the keyboard. I didn't want to use some water to clean that up, but I just cleaned off all the dust and then used the blower to get all the crumbs out of there. Alright. Same thing with this. There was a lot of crumbs all in here, so I cleaned that and cleaned the back. Alright. And now what we're going to do, we're going to pull the hard drive out. So the hard drive comes out like this. You kind of just slide it back. Alright, this is a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. Again, this was upgraded to an SSD. There's 4 screws that hold the drive into place, and then you can put a new one. If you're going to be doing this, make sure either you have a way to reinstall Windows or you clone the hard drive to an SSD first. Otherwise, you'll need a bootable cloning software, and I don't know of any free ones that do that. Alright, so anyways, you got the speakers running along down here, and they both connect to this one spot here. Okay, you got the fan here. It looks like if you need to remove it, you will have to take the whole motherboard out. Wireless card is right here. If you want to see how to remove that, I have a bunch of videos showing that. CMOS battery, BIOS battery, very standard CR2032. Alright, you can push the thing there and it pops out. Basically, you'd have to slide it. There's a spring here. And there's a standard, again, CR2032. I don't know why, but they use multiple names for it. CMOS, BIOS, RTC, real-time clock battery. Okay. And then we got the screen cable here. So I'm going to try disconnecting the screen cable real quick, and then we're going to pull it back in just to see if it's somewhat a little loose. It doesn't seem loose, so I don't know. But anyways, we're going to pull that back. Let's go ahead and clean this a little. Okay, and then we're going to push this back in. Again, it's very important that if you are messing with this cable, that you did press and hold the power button and then after removing the battery for about 15 seconds, okay? So anyways, we're going to now put the battery back in, and then we're going to see if it powers up. We're not going to put the hard drive because we don't want to worry about the operating system. So we're just going to, oops, sorry, I zoomed out way too, or zoomed in too much. But basically, I just put the battery back in. Let me pull this back up. All right, basically, you drop that into place. Line it up, make sure the screw mount is lined up, and then push that in place, the connectors right there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and power this up with the button. I see the power button light is on, and we'll see if anything comes on the screen. If nothing comes on the screen, then either the screen is bad, or we're gonna have to check if the cable on the other side of the screen has an issue. So right now nothing is happening, so I have a feeling I didn't leave the RAM out right now. Yeah, so I have a feeling it's the screen, on either the screen or the screen cable on the other side, because this side seems perfectly fine. I don't see anything loose. If you want, again, you can put some adhesive or something to help tape and hold this into place, but again, this didn't come loose, so it should be okay. Alright, and yeah, I see absolutely nothing on the screen. Let me try shutting this off. Actually, the screen does go black, but nothing comes up. So right now when oh, I see. So it's on, but the backlight is dead. Let me see if I can show this to you. So if I hold it this way and turn it on. Okay, there, you can see it. But there's no backlight at all. So I'm not sure what would have damaged that, but the screen backlight is dead. So what we're going to do, we're going to check the other side of the screen. If they're lucky, it could just be a loose cable, but most likely it's a backlight circuit. Anyways, we're pulling the battery back out. We're again going to have to hold the power button for 15 seconds to drain any residual power, make it safer to work on. All right, so we'll just give it a bit. All right. One other thing I forgot to mention, the CD drive, optical drive, you can replace that with a hard drive adapter. So if you really wanted, you can add a second hard drive in place of the CD drive. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can pop the screen out of here now. So what I'm gonna do is I like to start from the middle and then we just pull up. Basically we're rotating this and pushing that inwards towards the center, and usually that will release the clips on this model. Okay, so I don't know, on some models they put adhesives. I don't know if there used to be adhesive on here or if this is the original screen and everything, so I can't say for sure. This corner is kind of being a pain. Seems like there was some adhesive or something holding it. Yeah, so there is some adhesive on the corners. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue popping this up. I guess I have to run this along here so I can undo those adhesive. Okay, so I'm running my fingernail along the gap here, my thumbnail, and that separates the adhesive. All right, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate this way. And let's see about getting the bottom corner, same thing. It looks like they only put adhesive in the corners. Okay, and let's go ahead now and pull these clips out as well. Hopefully we can pull this out without having to take out more. It looks like it's coming out, so come on, please don't be caught on anything. All right, let's close the screen a little more so that we have a better gap in the center. And I don't know what it's stuck on, but it's stuck. Okay, so I don't know. This seems to be caught on something, but I'm not sure what exactly. There's some adhesive still holding it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna tilt this forward. It looks like it doesn't have 2 screws down here. Actually, okay, we can pull it out. It just takes more force. So let's see if we can get this side. There we go. Okay, so we got the bezel out. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove all the screws holding the screen together. There's only usually four screws. I don't know, it doesn't have the 2 screws at the bottom corners. So let's go ahead and remove these 2 screws up here. Okay. Now we can go ahead and pull this screen out. Okay, gonna lift from both sides here on these metal tabs. I don't know why this metal tab is like stuck there. So there we go. Okay, we're gonna rotate this. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we wanna check this cable and make sure this one is tight. Actually, this one seems a little bit loose, and it looks like this screen might have been changed before. So let's go ahead and peel this up. And I'm gonna put some more tape to help hold it better, hopefully. And hopefully it didn't fry the backlight circuit. I don't know if you can see that. It's very slightly rotated. So if we're lucky, then this piece is just a little loose. I know it's not focusing right, but all right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this cable out slightly. Let me rotate the screen a little so I have a little more room to work. Okay, so now we're gonna pull this cable out and then get this cable lined back up. Okay, and then go ahead and pull this cable completely tight into place. Make sure to pull the wings of this connector. All right, looks good. Pull this nice and tight, and then I'm gonna get some tape and just tape this to keep it in place. All right, so let me get a piece of tape here. Okay, and hopefully that will fix the problem. Okay. All right, so now we got another piece of tape here, and I always like to put a little release tab. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually fold over the edge of this here, okay, just like this. So that way, if we ever need to peel this up, we have this part that doesn't stick down. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick this onto the old adhesive. Okay, make sure it's stuck on nice and tight. Then we're going to go ahead again and pull this a bit and then stick this down. And you want to be careful not to pull too hard because it is making this come up like that. All right, and let's go ahead and zoom out now. And I don't know if you can see that, but if you need the LCD LVDS cable model number for some reason, there it is. All right, it's hard for me to read that from my screen, but hopefully you guys can read that. Okay, or at least be able to guess it. There's some dust and stuff back here. Okay, so let's zoom out again. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this screen back into place. Okay, so now that we have this open, I might as well brush the dirt out of this little thing here and down here. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and let the screen fall back here. Okay, lay it back down. Okay, drop that into place, get everything lined up. Good. Okay, and now we're going to just get all the screws back in. So let's go ahead and get that. All right, so the one screw up here. Okay, other screw up here. Let me see if I have screws that match these, so that way I can have like 4 screws in every corner, or 1 screw in every corner, sorry. Because if we don't have those screws, then it could pop back out again. So let me see, are these smaller type screws or standard? I think they're the smaller type, so I'll just find screws that look similar. So this will probably work. And this will probably work. That's a little bit too tall. Have to find similar screws. If you use a screw that's too tall, it can actually push through and damage the thing. So, all right, let me see if I have all matching black screws so that they're all the same. Okay, so we'll try that. Okay, so I found some screws that hopefully will fit. Let's go ahead and get those at the bottom. Maybe that will help prevent the cable from getting pulled in the future. Though usually what causes it is when you hold the computer from the bottom side where the hinges are, it flexes it. I'll explain it more once I get it all back together, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so we're gonna get all these screws back in. Okay, so either way, if you were checking your screen, you do have to take the whole bottom cover off, because removing the battery is very, very important. All right, removing the battery and pressing and holding the power button. If you don't do that, there's a very good chance you're going to destroy your computer. All right, so anyways, we're going to put the battery back in, just drop it into place, and let's go ahead and test the screen again. If we're lucky, that solved the problem. So let's go ahead and see. And there you go, it's lighting up now. So I think we're good to go. I don't know how I can tape down this side because there's all these little pieces in the way. I think what I'll do is I'll actually cut the wings of this off, and then I'll put tape that will fit over here. So let's go ahead and take the battery out again. I'm gonna hold this down, and then we're gonna press the power button again for 15 seconds. I know we're doing that a lot of times, but again, it's very important. If you don't do that, you could easily fry your computer. So it's only 15 seconds each time. Just take the few seconds to do that, and you can save yourself hundreds or thousands of dollars, or the risk of having to buy a new computer. All right, so anyways, that should be good. Again, I'm gonna just cut these off here. Okay, we're gonna cut these tabs, and we're gonna replace it with new tape here. Okay, and if you're doing that, be careful you don't cut anything on the computer itself. Okay, so next we're gonna need some new tape. We don't need it as wide as this whole roll, so we are gonna have to cut it a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the tape about the same size as it used to be. Probably cutting way too much. All right. Okay, so I think I cut this too wide, but shouldn't be too big of an issue. Okay, so we're gonna cut about that much of it off. All right, and let's go ahead and zoom in now and make sure we get this in right. Okay. So we're gonna stick this on here. I like to line this up so I can see how far it's gonna go. Then go ahead and roll that over. Oops, I've moved it. Let me peel this back off. Make sure you don't damage the connector. Okay. All right. That lined up. Okay, so there we go. That should be good. And then we can go ahead and stick these sides down at least here, and a little bit of that. All right, so there we go. We got the connector now taped down a bit. Got more tape, so maybe I'll just stick that on anyways. Okay, I'm gonna actually have it extend out to here, and that should prevent it from pulling out, hopefully. it still moved, so I don't know if it will work. Well, this side didn't have an issue before, so we should be fine. Oh, it didn't stick with this because it peeled off the letters here, so okay, I guess I better put this here so you can see the model of the fan. Let me show you the model number of the fan here real quick, just in case it's needed. Alright, hopefully you can read that. Alright, but this is an old computer, so I don't know how many people actually need it, but let's just go ahead and get a good close look. So there's the model number there. That's a ON. I think that's an S, not a 5. I don't know, it's either an S or a 5. But anyways, I'm going to peel that tape back out because it doesn't stick to that sticker well, and it just peeled off the tape. Okay, anyways, we're going to leave that one there. Okay, let's zoom out. And now let's go ahead and start putting everything back together. Okay, so first thing, we're going to put back the hard drive or the SSD. Okay, just line it up. Make sure you get it lined up. And then push this into place. There we go. Battery, get that into place. Okay, and then push that down, make sure it's good. Alright, so then we had the battery, right? So let's go ahead and put the battery screws back in. So we had one screw up here. Okay, and we have the 4 screws down here. Okay. Alright. And the last one here. Okay, so hopefully with those 4 screws it should hold the screen really well. I do have to remember to mention at the end how the cable pulls itself out, because it is a somewhat common issue I've seen on lots of computers. Okay, we're going to now put the bezel back in, so just get this lined up, push that down into place. Alright, get everything lined up, and then just line it up and push. Basically we're rolling the thing in to get the clips back in, opposite of how we were pulling it out. Okay, so, and just work your way down the edges. Okay, this one, all the rubber's like peeling off, so technically they could replace this piece as well and have it nice, but all right. And I'm keeping pressure on the back here, okay, while I kind of push these in. Okay, and there we go. So now we got all those clips back in. Okay, next thing we're gonna want is the keyboard palm rest assembly here. Okay, so all of these, you want to make sure these latches stay up so that way you can get the cables back in. Okay, I mean you can flip them up afterwards, but it's easier to do them first. Alright, then you can grab this, guide that cable in. Okay, alright, now that we got it all lined up, you can go ahead and click all the edges in. Okay, make sure to pinch the 2 pieces together. Okay, so on the CD drive I pinch it instead of pushing it down because this is really thin there. Okay, and let's go ahead and now get these screws in. So we got 3 screws going across here. Okay, and if you are only replacing the keyboard, you do only have to remove 2 screws. So keep that in mind. You don't have to remove the battery or anything to remove the keyboard. So let me actually show you what I mean. If you look at the back of the keyboard here, you can see there's 2 screw mounts here. So when you flip this over, there's one here and one here, and that lines up with, actually, I guess you only need one. So this screw hole here doesn't line up to anything on the bottom. So this is for different models. Some models will use that second screw, but this one specifically doesn't. Alright, let's go ahead now and get all these cables back in. I'll zoom in so you can see it better. Right, this cable is for the 3 buttons over here. Okay, let's get this in. I'm missing a bunch of work calls, so hopefully this video is worth it. Such an old model. But all right, get that in. Then flip that latch down. All right, we're gonna get these two. I didn't pay attention 100% to what's what, but if you watch the video again and look at the back, I'm pretty sure it's like for the trackpad and the lights or something, or the buttons. Okay, so make sure if you want to see which cable's for what, or if you have some issue with your trackpad or something not working on the palm rest assembly, you'll want to check that. Okay. All right, so this one I think is for the lights. So this is probably like trackpad and trackpad buttons. Okay, so make sure everything's in, and also if you notice when I flip these, I just slide my finger over. You don't want to like try and pry it over with your fingernail or anything like that. Okay, so now for the keyboard connectors. Again, keyboard connector here. Keyboard backlight connector is this orangey brown one. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this one can be a little bit tricky. We're gonna do the backlight cable first. Make sure that latches up. Okay, it's easier to do it when I don't have to show it on camera, but there we go, just like that. And then we're gonna go on this side, flip it this way. Make sure this latches up. Get this cable out. Okay, get that all lined up. Make sure the wings of the connectors go in properly. Okay, all right, so the wings should pass those little notches, and then flip the latch down. There we go. Now let's zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole keyboard, how we put this back in. We just slide the bottom pieces back in while it's at an angle like this, and then while you're holding the middle up, go ahead and click in the sides just like that, and then you can work your way across the top just like this. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and close the screen. Then we'll flip the computer over and then get all the back bottom screws back in. So first thing we're going to do, of course, is the keyboard screw here. All right, and assuming yours isn't missing the screw, put the screw back down there. All right, next thing we're going to do is put back the CD drive, optical disc drive. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and put this cover on. So this side goes in first. Then while you're holding the middle up here, you can go ahead and flex it so it curves like that to clip into place. And then we're going to go ahead and get this screw in. All right, and then now let's just get all the last screws and the rubber covers back in. But that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't think I got a good, decent thumbnail point, but well, we're just going to get all back together. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Other than that, that's all there is to it. You're welcome to stay as I put back the rest of these screws. And yeah. All right, thanks for watching. All right, let's get all these screws back in. Okay, and then we'll get the rubber feet in. Okay, I don't know, there's a lot of food stuff stuck in there, but right. Oh, and also this one, for some reason, I think the screw mount is probably not good. Oh, there we go. It wasn't holding too tight, but now it's good. All right, let's go ahead now and put these rubber pieces in. Go. And last four, and that's all there is to it. All right, get in there, please. Alright, and last one. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright. Oh, I almost forgot. So, for how it breaks, usually what I see is people hold their laptop from here and squeeze. And what happens is, as you can see, this part flexes. And that bit of flex actually puts some strain on the cable, and that pulls the cable out. So what you want to do is actually carry it from this side where the laptop actually opens. So that way, even if you squeeze it, it's not a problem. The LCD LVDS cable is not getting pulled. All right, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right.